let us take a look at our own Information Technology Acts, which is in force from 2000, and the amendments which were done in 2008. Now, to give a simple introduction of why these laws are required, this is an era of technology where the technology overtakes everything, and the internet usage continues to grow throughout the world. So, everywhere on your mobile phones, at home, in your office, so everywhere there is a massive use of internet as a medium of communication, a medium for sharing information, a medium for uploading, downloading files, a medium for collaborating, corroborating with your loved ones. So, the advent of internet is so much that the threat also naturally increases with the increased use of technology. Some of the crimes may be relatively small and harmless, but there are again very serious crimes that are committed in the cyber world, and the long arm of the law also intervenes, punishes or lays down that this is what has to be done and this is what should not be done. So, to mitigate the activity like cyber crime, we have regulating laws like the IT Act 2000. Some of the earlier laws or the laws that we have in India as of now, the Indian Penal Code 1860, Indians Evidence Act 1872, Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891, Copyright Act 1957, Patents Act 1970, Trademarks Act 1999. So many laws are there. Similarly, Information Technology Act is also there, which is in force since 2000. What is this cyber law? This is specifically an act to provide legal recognition for the transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange (EDI) or other means of electronic communication. This definition what I am reading out is actually what is there in the cyber law. So, this is an act to provide legal recognition for the transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication, commonly referred to as electronic commerce, e-commerce, which involves the use of alternatives to paper based methods. So, this is applicable to anything that happens legally. If you are using BYOD, bring your own devices like mobiles or your computers, the laptops, the kiosks, anything that use in an electronic form as an alternative to paper media, this cyber law is applicable. Even the income tax statements, there are several regulatory things that you can upload using a digital signature to the regulatory authorities. That is a valid form which is accepted by the regulatory bodies. All those transactions, all those happenings come under the ambit of IT Act 2000. Some of the important definitions as per IT Act, they have defined computer as electronic, magnetic, optical or other high speed data processing device or system which performs logical, arithmetic, memory functions by manipulations of electronic, magnetic or optical impulses and includes all input, output, processing, storage, computer software or communication facilities which are connected or relates to the computer in a computer system or computer network. So, computer network is also defined as a means of interconnection of one or more computers through one use of satellites, microwaves, terrestrial lines or other communication media. So, network is, we will see in domain 4 what a network is, types of networks, so all of these will be covered under that. 2. Terminals are complex consisting of two or more interconnected computers, whether or not the interconnection is continually maintained. So, it can be just connecting for a particular session and then coming out. So, again this also we will see, and computer resources also is defined here. It means computer, computer system, computer network, data, computer database or software. So, everything is covered under computer resources. And computer system means a device or collection of devices, including input, output, support devices and excluding calculators, which are not programmable and capable of being used in conjunction with external files, which contain computer programs, electronic instructions, input data and output data that performs logic, arithmetic, data storage, retrieval, communication control and functions. So, almost everything is covered under the definition. It will take some time to register these words or to understand these words. So, but I will allow it to sink in, so that you will understand it after a couple of slides. Data is also explained here in the IT Act 2000. Data means representation of information, knowledge, the facts, concepts or instructions which are being prepared or have been prepared. So, something in progress or in process and something which is already done in a formalized manner with proper procedure and is intended to be processed. So, either it is done or it is intended to be processed. Is being processed or has been processed in a computer system or computer network and may be in any form. It can be computer printouts, it can be magnetic or optical storage. Magnetic is the tape system, optical is your CD, DVDs, punched cards, punched tapes, or it can be stored internally in the hard disk or memory of the computer. An electronic form with reference to information means any information generated, sent, received or stored in media, magnetic, optical, memory, microfilm, computer generated microfiche or similar device. So, electronic form is in references, all these things are under electronic forms. And information includes data, text, images, sound, video, computer programs, softwares, databases or microfilm for computer generated microfiche. So, all of those are covered under that. Here the information what they have mentioned is it includes data also. So, raw data is also included. Data in its raw form is data, when it is processed it is information. Then intermediary with respect to any particular electronic message means any person who on the behalf of another person receives, stores, transmits the message or provides any service with respect to the message. So, these are some of the important terminologies that have been specified in IT Act 2000. Now, we will go straightly or directly to some of the offences which have been classified in chapter 11 of the cyber crime IT Act 2000. We will not go into details of all these sections and penalties for that, but you can always download a copy of the cyber law from DEITY site or any other site. You can Google search for IT Act and its amendments and you will get it. If you are interested in learning more, you can always download and learn. Now, some of the important sections are section 43, which specifies penalty and compensation for damage to computer, computer system, etc. So, when we talk about information security itself in this program, throughout this program, we say confidentiality of information, integrity, availability of information, there is a threat of disclosure, alteration, destruction. Now, 43 specifies penalty for damage to computer or computer system. Damage can be both physical and logical. 65 is tampering with computer source documents, integrity is affected. 66 computer related offenses. So, all kinds of computer related that we are going to talk about or have talked about will be covered under that. 66A is punishment for sending offensive messages through communication service or mobile service. We have read a lots of news about this, sending lewd messages to somebody, sending obscene photographs. So, all those is covered into this. 66B specifies punishment for dishonestly receiving stolen computer resources or communication device. So, that is also covered. 66C is punishment for identity theft, which is perhaps the most used kind of social engineering attack which is happening right now. Identity theft is where somebody masquerades as you and tries to commit a felony or a fraud using your identity. So, identity theft, it can be even simple things from learn about you from Facebook. So, it is always advisable not to put too much information on Facebook, not to put too much photos on Facebook. I actually came across a person who was telling me that one of his relatives' photo had been morphed and used for some bad obscene purposes in Facebook. So, these things can happen. And 66D is punishment for cheating by personation by using computer resources. Again, logically, if you are trying to masquerade somebody else, that is covered here. Violation of privacy, this also we have read in the papers quite a lot. Invasion of privacy, so there is a punishment for that. 66F is cyber terrorism, cyber bullying, online predators, all of these are covered here. 67 is punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene material in electronic form. So, we see that you say your organization has a firewall, it blocks uploading, downloading of file, but why? It is not only for the organization's information storage requirements and information security requirements, also to comply with the law. You can't have somebody upload or download obscene photos from the internet or to the internet. 67A is punishment for publishing or transmitting of material containing sexually explicit acts, etc. So, next time you are watching a porn, think of 67A. 67B is punishment for publishing or transmitting material depicting children in sexually explicit act in electronic form. 67C is preservation and retention of information by intermediaries. 68 is power of controller to give directions. So, there are certain rules or mandated or powers given to the controllers to give directions to the police, to other people, to intercept messages, to capture messages, that is again specified in 69. Powers to issue directions for interception or monitoring or decryption of any information through any computer resource. So, that is also there. 69A is power to issue directions for blocking for public access of any information through computer resource. 69B is power to authorize to monitor and collect traffic data or information through any computer resource for cyber security, and 70 deals with protected system. 70A is National Nodal Agency. Why these specific things have been put is the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team is a very important agency under DITY to respond to computer incidents. They work in the interest of your national security. So, 70A and 70B, so government has mandated Indian CERT is the national nodal agency for all these computer related things. So, you can also Google about Indian CERT. 71 is penalty for misrepresentation. 72 is breach of confidentiality and privacy. 72A is punishment for disclosure of information. Again, it is the opposite of confidentiality. 73 is penalty for publishing electronic signature certificate false in certain particulars or false electronic signatures in particular. 74 is publication for fraudulent purposes, and 75 is act to apply for offence or contraventions committed outside India. I think we discussed it a few slides ago. 76 is who can confiscate or confiscation. 77 is compensations, penalties or confiscation not to interfere with other punishment. 77A is compounding of offences. 77B is offences with 3 years imprisonment to be cognizable. 78 is power to investigate offences. So, there are several laws with respect to the computer crimes that find place in the Information Technology Act 2000 and its amendments. So, we should be proud that in India also we are keeping up with the times and implementing and have rules and regulations to control and monitor the computer activities. So, next time you want to do something or you do something which is not as per this, you will have to think twice and do. The most important thing to remember is all these are done with protecting the information related to national security. So, it starts with a person, then it starts with an organization, it grows into a state, finally it grows into the national level. So, cyber laws, we would encourage you to download it, read it, understand it, not for the sake of examination or anything else, but to know that there are laws in the country which help you as an individual or you as an organization, and also which helps in preventing crimes. With this, we come to the end of module 2 and we look forward to seeing you in module 3 and try to learn new concepts and to see what the different kinds of threats are. Thank you.